Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin our show, uh, Community Conversation. I'm your host, Dr. Weech, and this show is about you getting information regarding what's going on in the community and getting it out there. So I'm hopeful that you will tune in. We are on YouTube live, and we're on WGGF live. So once again, you can check me out on YouTube. You can check me out on wggfradio.com. So as we're setting up, this is our first time doing this, and this is similar to a show I usually do called Reclaiming Our Community, Reclaiming Our World. I do think we need a program, or we need a voice that can help us understand the political environment and talk about the things that are affecting our communities. So with that being said, we're going to get right into it again. You can check us out on YouTube at wggfradio.com, or you can go on YouTube and type in WGGF Radio and find us. We're live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. So we got a lot we want to talk about with respect to what's going on. And I do want to talk about Hurricane Matthew, how it ravaged Haiti and the Carolinas and other places. And we're based, our central base headquarters is based in Florida and Miami, actually. We escaped the brunt of it. And that was a real fortunate, and more importantly, we were not just fortunate, but we were blessed that living in a tropical environment, but yet we seem not to get the brunt of it. I can remember clearly Andrew and the devastation Andrew did. So we're definitely appreciative and thankful with respect to being spared, and we got to continue to keep Haiti and Cuba and the Bahamas Isles in our prayers, because they were ravaged. I had some family in the Bahamas, and they said it was pretty challenging. It's pretty rough, but they hunkered down, battened down the hatches, and they're okay. So we're very appreciative and fortunate for that. Now, with that being said, we have to remember this is a community program, and we're going to do a community event for Haiti. We're going to raise some resources for Haiti, and I believe I have the text here, some of the things we're going to be needing for Haiti. We're going to be doing that. WGGF Radio is a community-oriented radio station, 24/7, 7 days a week. So some of the things that we're going to be doing this is a Haiti Hurricane Matthew relief, and it's called Gospel in the Gardens Concert. And it says the things that are needed are hygienic products, over-the-counter medicines, Tylenol, Benadryl, Pedialyte, Neosporin, infant items, children and feminine products, rubbing alcohol, peroxide, clothing, and shoes. So these are some of the things that are needed. I didn't see any funding on that. I don't believe the event is going to be taking any funding, because it gets tricky when we talk about funding. But nevertheless, again, you can check out this program at 8. We'll be doing this on a regular at 8 on WGGF Radio. We're going to be talking about a variety of topics, variety of subjects, and we do want you to know that you can check us out live on YouTube. You can check us out live on the radio station. You can just check us out as we continue to check in. Hang on. All right, so with that being said, let's go into our particular show program. And again, I want to talk about Haiti. Now, if you were following the news and followed what happened, you will note that our president got on to say donate to the Red Cross for the hurricane victims of Matthew. And I've already seen rebutted footage that said, don't give to Red Cross. You can recall Haiti was ravaged years ago by an earthquake and devastation, and tons of money were donated to American Red Cross. They didn't get the money to Haiti. So we, in this time, need to be mindful. I know we're a human race, and one thing about humanity that I believe in is we stand up to the call. when it's time to donate and help other people. I just think that's the way we are being human beings. We'll stand up to the challenge, we'll stand up to the task, and we'll donate some things. So I'm going to encourage us that this event is going to take place November 5th at the Betty T. Ferguson Recreational Complex. And it's going to be a wonderful event. And for more information, you can call Minister Anthony Durden at 786-718-0316. And we will be participating in this particular event. So please check us out, that Haiti support this particular Meet Haiti Relief. And remember, be mindful when you're giving out your fundings to certain organizations. As we said, the Red Cross did not get that money when Haiti suffered that earthquake years ago. So just be mindful of that. And we want to encourage you to participate in service that we have coming up. So we listed the things that you would need. And more importantly, you could just continue to check us out on the World Wide Web. And you can continue to check us out on wggfradio, and you'll be able to hear that. So with that being said, we're going to talk about quite a few things. We're going to talk about not just how the Red Cross took advantage of Haiti, but we're going to also discuss politics. Most of you know we looked at the debate some time ago. And I just feel we have to educate ourselves when we're talking about the politics. I think we as African Americans are not as versed as we should be with respect to politics, and that could be a problem sometimes. And I believe if people want to take advantage, they tend to reach out to the African American community, and these things are not be sold. So we're going to talk about the debates. We're going to talk about politics. And what's funny is we're dealing with a very, very interesting political environment. Number one, we have a candidate who's a billionaire and who is totally shooting from the hip. He's very unconventional candidate. And we have a career politician. Now, if I was to insert my views, I'd say a career criminal. But I want to be arbitrary, and I don't want to be like the other media outlets trying to influence or sway your opinions either way. So I just want to encourage you to listen to what we're talking about at this time. Now, let's get into it. I have a couple of topics I want to deal with. And again, if you want to call in and chime in, you can call in 321-345-WGGF, 321-345-WGGF, or 508 DRWEECH 508 Dr. Weech. Now, a lot of people are struggling with choosing a candidate. Now, let me just tell you this. I have no party affiliation. My card says NPA, no party affiliation. As you become more aware of the political environment, you realize how corrupt it is. And so with that being said, I'm kind of intrigued with the man Donald Trump, because he's not an establishment guy, and there are a lot of people who are saying, hey, he's no good for the country. And it's very interesting when you see somebody and a whole lot of people say, hey, this guy's no good. And after they ravaged or dogged Hillary Clinton and President Clinton years past, most of these people are saying, oh, we'd rather go with Clinton. Even Condoleezza Rice came out and said, Trump, stand down. This is totally mind-boggling. How are you, being a Republican, you're going to tell your candidate to step out of the race and let the other candidate win by forfeit? It just proves to tell you that politics, in my opinion, is sorely rigged. And this is why I'm intrigued by Donald Trump, because telling you, leave this guy alone. And the reason why I find that intriguing is because if you have so many people saying, leave this guy alone, and this guy is saying so many things about the establishment. Now, listen, we've seen the media let loose on this guy. The media is letting him have it with these tapes that came out in 2005 about him saying inappropriate comments, let me tell you right now, the comments were very much inappropriate. And you have a reason to be disgusted by it. Yes, my brother. You have a reason to be disgusted by it. And my homie, DJ Obadiah is tuning in. God bless you, brother. And a couple other people are tuning in. God bless you. As we said, we're going to continue to do this particular program because it's very, very vital that people understand the political process. But you have people who are, their media is hammering this guy with this footage that took place in 2005. Now, what baffles me is this. Who holds on to footage like that for several years? 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Who holds on to footage for 11 years? Who does that? Unless you're holding on to that to influence or some sort of blackmail, because I mean, I just don't hold on to stuff like that. It's just strange, and for that to come out at this particular time is very suspicious. Now, with that being said, we're going to get into the Clinton emails, because if you've been following those emails, you would know what Trump says about the women, again, inappropriate, but is far in comparison, pales into comparison with respect to the emails that came out with Hillary Clinton. Now, we've been hearing a lot about the polling, and the polling, how they have Clinton up ahead. Now, let me just tell you, people, don't fall for that polling, because the polling is not always what it is. The polling is not always what it is. And let me tell you why. Because if we fall into that polling, they're trying to discourage you from coming out and voting. They're trying to discourage you from coming out to vote. And I'm telling you, don't be influenced by that. You should vote. Now, as I was following this political process, I was almost inclined to say I'm not voting, because that's how strange and crazy it was. But I want to challenge you this. Forget about what the media is saying. Forget about what you heard about Hillary Clinton. Forget about what you heard about Donald Trump. There's one more debate coming up. I want you to listen to what Trump says. Some of the stuff he says is totally off the cuff. But if you listen to what he's saying with respect to jobs and all this other stuff, the man is making some decent points. I'm going to tell you, he's not the traditional candidate, and I believe that's why a lot of people like him, because he's telling you exactly what's on his mind. He's telling you exactly how he's feel, and he's not as versed in the political rhetoric and jargon as the other candidates. This is why he beat the career establishment. So I really think Hillary Clinton's in trouble. And think about it, in my opinion, if Trump wasn't so off the cuff, he would he'd be winning this election by now, I'm telling you. But because he's such a straight shooter, and he says some things that is good, and then he would just put his foot in his mouth, this is why he's not leading. So we're going to get into the criminal activity of Hillary Clinton. And please, I want you all who voted for Obama, my African-American brothers and sisters, if you're tuning in, we'll be doing this until the election. I want you to name me one thing that Obama has done for black people. All right. Now, for my other people who may not be of African-American descent, my Caucasian persuasion brothers and sisters, why don't you call me and tell me one thing that this man has done? If you talk about Obamacare, please, I encourage you, because we're going to rip that in half. So 8 years of nothing being done, and 4 more years of that, I think the country can't stand it. Now, don't call and say, oh, Obama could, because so many people who are not altogether versed with the political process, or not educating themselves about the political process, will say, well, the Republicans won't let them do anything. My friend, Obama had control of the House and the Senate in the first 2 years of his election, which is why people overwhelmingly voted them out when it was time to vote. So you can't use that excuse. And they'll continue to use, oh, well, Bush made such a mess in the country, he had to clean it up. Not true. True, this man, Bush, put us in a war, but let me tell you, this man has done worse than that, and he's done nothing. He's never had a balanced budget. You talk about the debt that the previous administration ran up. He ran it up even further, with like 150 trillion and counting It'll probably be 200 trillion when he gets out of there. So when I hear a man like Donald Trump saying, listen, we're getting railroaded with the economic policies and the deals that are being made in foreign countries, it causes me to listen. And when I hear all these candidates say, hey, listen, Trump's no good. Trump's no good for the country. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, listen to the speech Joe Biden gives, because he says Trump will be a hazard to other countries. He'll make war. It's not that easy to go to war, people. You still have to get the vote of Congress and understand the military-industrial complex wants to be fed. And when I watched Trump in the second debate, because let me face it, the first debate, he was horrible. But the second debate, if someone looked presidential, he looked more impressive. Now, listen, I like to say I have no dog in the fight. I'm not influencing you either which way, but I'm telling you, playing with the choice of Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, it's no choice. So let's go into the economic policies of Hillary Clinton with these emails that are coming out. Number one, it's been found out that Hillary Clinton did, in fact, there's some emails coming out with her mocking the evangelical faith and the Catholic people of the Catholic regime now, or the Catholic faith. Now, they're saying these people are way behind, outdated. You can look at the emails. They're saying they're way behind and outdated, and they'll want to push an agenda that I think, well, force down an agenda of the homosexuality right. And again, let me tell you something. I'm giving you arbitrary and common sense. Now, they want to force it down your throat, you see. Now, when you talk about rights, hey, everybody deserves a human right, but it seems as though that the agenda of the administration wants to force issues down your throat and suppress other issues. Now, they said there has to be a Catholic spring, similar to the Arab Spring. If you've been following the thing that was going on in Syria, they call it an Arab Spring because the people rose up against Assad. And they're saying this is what needs to happen with respect to the Catholic Church. So let me tell you what they did now. This is the Clinton campaign. Remember, a lot of black churches opened the doors to her and said, come speak to us. We're endorsing you. But she's talking about destroying the very thing you believe in. You see? She's talking about destroying the very thing you believe in. Your morals, your values, and your commitment to your faith and to your holy scriptures. You see? You see the problem with that? And we're embracing that? Okay, now, what they've done, they said they were thinking about putting together a Catholic spring. And that was basically putting group, and they've done this. They put together groups, built groups that says Catholic, but at the same time they're not. But they've created these groups to thwart their agenda. So, for example, we'll say Catholics for humans reproduction. That's what they'll say. When in reality, it's saying Catholics for abortion. Now, again, if you disagree with what I'm saying, please call in, express your comments. I'm just telling you the facts. Now, I'm going to get on both sides in a minute, but I'm stating the facts. So many people are hung up and caught up on Hillary Clinton, especially my African American brothers and sisters. And I'm saying, what has Obama done for the country? What has he done? Tell me. I was having lunch with my cousin, and her friend was telling her Trump has the lowest record for hiring people. And I said, okay, what has this man done for African American people? He's the president of the United States. This I know, but what has he done for African American people? She couldn't say anything. So don't expect to hold Trump feet to the fire, and we're not holding this man's feet to the fire. You understand? All right, so in any event, they talked about a Catholic spring uprising. So they created these groups to forward their agenda. So they, like I said, they create a Catholic for human reproduction, which is basically Catholics for abortion. All right, this is what they've done. But yet at the same time, she's saying, hey, I want your vote. I respect your opinion, but she's undermining you all the same while. This is what this woman does. Trump, say what you want. Sometimes he sounds completely off his rocker, but he says what's on his mind. He's a straight shooter. Now, Aside from that, do we remember what happened with respect to Clinton and the Clinton Foundation went inside Haiti when that earthquake took place? And they didn't do anything but take the money also. Hmm? They took the money also. So you're saying, oh, well, Trump's foundation, Trump University. Trump's was never in public office. You see what I'm saying? He never held an office. And if he did something wrong, surely they would have come after him by now with respect to some kind of charges, or you'd have heard some more things regarding that particular thing. Again, if you want to call in 321-345 WGGF, 321-345 WGGF, you can participate with us on a chat, on the video chat on YouTube. We're right there. I want to hear your comments. What do you have to say? Is it Hillary Clinton or is it Donald Trump? 321-345 508 DRWEECH. Because I don't think we understand the political process. Someone told me it's hard to convince African. I was in the beauty parlor. I had twisted. There was a bunch of women in there, and the media just continued to hammer and hammer and hammer this thing with Trump and what he said about women years ago. And let's be real. Here's a guy. He's rich. He's living a high life. He's probably telling the truth. Ladies, when you meet a basketball player, a guy with money, you're more inclined to hear what he has to say than the guy who doesn't have the money to go spy by the champagne bottle or what have you. But nevertheless, what he said was heinous. What he said was inappropriate. What he said was very much inappropriate. Thank you, my brother. Someone texted and said I should be on CNN. Praise that comment, my brother. I appreciate you. But this is the reality. People not understanding the political process. They need to understand the political process, because what's happening now is Operation Mockingbird. And Operation Mockingbird, listen, I'm telling you the truth. Operation Mockingbird is when the CIA took over the media and they fed the information of what they wanted the people to hear. So don't think when Trump talks about this media machine, it's a farce. Go look up Operation Mockingbird when CIA took control of the media and say, this is the propaganda we want you to put out. Go find out. Remember, we just paid millions of dollars to a company in Europe to create propaganda against ISIS. Remember that. And again, that was squandering of money. And remember when we heard Mr. Obama, our president, be in office. Listen, I know people are upset, say, how could you be a black man and talk about this president? I'm giving you the facts. Because it's not about black and white. It's about right and wrong. And it's about understanding the process. And you understand the process and you realize that if you're not watching, both parties are corrupt. And sometimes you need to just burn the whole thing down. You need to just burn the whole thing down. And I'm saying Trump could be in the loop with them. But I'm telling you, they play their role so good. And this man's got everybody upset. Listen, I watched the second debate and it was humorous. Trump did it as the saying, they say, he did it like a savage. He said, you should be in jail. And if I'm in office, I'm going to have a special prosecutor prosecute you. And I'm like, oh, Trump, you shouldn't have said that. Because it's like, man, you got to win. Because that other person gets in office, they coming after you and they smelling for blood. And so what I like about this guy is that he knows how to put up a fight. And when he comes, he's come with everything and he's swinging hard. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that he's not just swaying to the political pressures. He's not just folding. Because how do you have a candidate and you tell your candidate, step down, forfeit the process? That's insane. Listen, my opinion, please do your research. My opinion, it makes me think that when this guy gets in office, he's going to stop the meal ticket. Because think about these bills that come out. This Zika bill that came out, they said they had passed it or it's going to get passed. It's several $1 million, I believe. And they didn't pass it until they had the pork barrel in it, meaning they had stuff where the politicians get so much money for their own cities and for their own programs till you have maybe $200,000 left to doing Zika research and Zika prevention. That's how the process works. That's why the man can say, hey, we're getting railroaded when you look at these deals across the aisles. Why do you think you have other countries? Someone in Europe said, hey, listen, you can't elect a guy like this. But, you know, Vladimir Putin rebuked the UN and said, hey, be quiet. Don't try to influence U.S. elections. Now, Hold up, I got to get on this. Podesta, the one in charge of the Hillary Clinton campaign, John Podesta, the Russians. Trump is in cahoot with the Russians. The Russians hacked the emails. We should be concerned about our security because the Russians. It's going to rain. The Russians. Clinton cheating. The Russians. Let me tell you something, folks. Don't fall for this. I don't believe for 1 second that the Russians are involved in this. I really don't. I believe Podesta needs to say all kinds of things. Now, listen. Here's the corruption with Podesta. Podesta and his own group are making tons of money from the policies that the Clintons have made. And listen, if you think that this is going to change, all the people at the top eat. They're getting richer and richer. They did a study last year where most of the politicians increased their wealth, and most of the politicians are millionaires. And they said the couple that weren't millionaires, and I think this woman, Davy Wasserman, she wasn't a millionaire, and you had the professor who's studying social studies and civics. He says she's probably honest. Now, let's get back on this information about Clinton. Now, those of you who know, the election was rigged for Bernie Sanders, and I'm telling you right now, people, be mindful for Florida, because if you didn't know, CNN reported that the Russians hacked the Florida voting blocking system, and it could be questionable, and the results can be suspicious. So watch this. Florida's in play again. You all know what happened when George H.W. ran and what happened to Florida when his brother was governor, right? Okay, so Florida's in play again. I'm telling you, watch what I'm telling you. If this election is close, look at Florida. They're going to do something to Florida. They're going to say the Russians hacked in. That's why they fed you the information. Operation Mockingbird, go look it up. When the CIA took control of the media. Operation Mockingbird. So now they sent that out there. And, oh, the reason why I told you this. CNN reported this, but we're in Miami. I watched the news on Miami. The guy said, we just spoke to the people in the elections, and they said, everything's secure. Everything's secure. What are they saying? And even the guy was like, this is strange. So what they're doing, they're telling you right now, hey, Bush did it. We're going to try to steal this election also. So I want to encourage you to get out and vote, and I want you to vote from an informed perspective. Now, honestly, when you look at Donald Trump, listen, I have no dog in the fight, no party affiliation. I'm just watching and observing. Listen to what he said. What exactly disturbs you about him? Yeah, he says some crazy things. He's somewhat unorthodox. But Clinton, how can you vote for someone who's a criminal, who lied, who got people murdered? And when she was on trial and before the commission, she said, it doesn't matter. So what? These people were killed. It doesn't matter. That's what she said. How can you listen? How can you vote for someone like this? So in any event, we have to not forget what happened with, we had to forget, yes, someone's listening. That's right. Florida, the meal ticket. I'm telling you to watch Florida because, again, it's strange when I tell you that they're talking about Florida. Podesta or the Clinton campaign came out and said they hacked the system. And I'm right here in Miami. They say, what no system hacked? The systems are secure. But they're saying, oh, well, it's not authentic. So watch this. Let me just put something out there. And this is pure speculation, hypothetical. If Trump wins Florida, I can see the headlines. Trump paid the Pam Bondi campaign. This is why it's some funny stuff going on. Trump was in cahoot with Governor Rick Scott. This is what's going to happen. They're going to play up to that. Because I'm going to tell you, they're going to put that political machine behind that, and it's going to be on and on and on. I'm telling you. Now, I don't know if you all heard this part where Donna Brazile, she's a Democrat, liberal, as all outdoors. She was feeding the questions to Hillary Clinton when she was debating Bernie Sanders. Huh? These people have no conscience. She was feeding the questions to Hillary Clinton with Bernie Sanders. Now, for my brothers and sisters, African-American brothers and sisters, you say, oh, how can you be for Trump? I have no party affiliation, number one. But I'm educating myself. So Now, I watched the debates with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Not once did she acknowledge any of the injustices or travesties that were affecting African American men with the with their hands subjected to police officers. Now, how you feel about that? There was certainly acknowledgement from Bernie Sanders, and I was watching the moderators. They went out their way to ask him the question, and the man clearly said, hey, Black Lives Matter. He recognizes that there are some things in the areas of concern. Hillary Clinton didn't touch it. What she did do, though, when she was elected, she played on the emotion of women, brought all the women of the children who were murdered or had suffered at the hands of what could be excessive force from the police officers, allegedly, and she brought them on stage. And I was like, this woman is she's amazing. She knows how to play it. She's 30 years in office now. What makes you think she's going to do anything if she was there 30 years and nothing's been done in 8 years? What makes you think something's going to change when she's in there? So I was listening to an interview with Mike Tyson. Even Mike Tyson said, hey, let's give somebody else a chance. We know what we get with this person. Even Mike Tyson, he's got sense enough to say, hey, let's give it a shot. So now, when we look at Trump, we're saying he has an aggressive policy and he believes in the stop and frisk. I believe that's a mistake. I believe stop and frisk. I don't agree with that. But I believe that there's some level of ignorance with respect when people do not acknowledge or are not around. I believe he can be educated, because I remember when we watched the Sandra Bland situation played out, he said plainly, you shouldn't die from being pulled over by the police. That's what I heard him say that. I've never heard this woman acknowledge the issues going on with African Americans. And so this is what I say, we are challenged when it comes to leadership with respect into our African American culture. I think we don't have men who are versed, we don't have men who are educated, and we don't have people who have our vested interests at heart. When I look at the civil rights era, and I look at Dr. King and I look at Malcolm X, these were men who were educated, and these were men who were sold out to the cause and paid the ultimate price. And I don't think we have that leadership, and I don't think we have that operating with respect to when we look to clergy leadership. Recall, the clergy were places where you went to get information. And so I think we're seriously hampered by that with respect to our leadership. I think we need to have leaders who are going to step up, and leaders who are conscious. The number to call is 321-345-WGGF, 321-345-9443, or 508 Dr. Weech. Now, we've talked about how Hillary was being fed the questions prior to the debate. What kind of democracy is that? That you rig or sabotage your candidate? I don't understand that. How do you sabotage your candidate? And so here's the thing. This woman has been getting help left and right, and she's still losing. She can't put away the election, which tells you a lot about her character and integrity. And now the media machine is rolling over ordaining Trump. And I was listening to the debate with my cousin, and I remember Trump was saying, you should be in jail. If I'm a special prosecutor, XYZ is going to happen. The lady got behind Mr. Trump and said, none of that is true. The crowd started laughing. The crowd started laughing because this lady is a pathological liar. Someone called my business number yesterday, I believe it was, and said, hey, sir, I'm calling from the Democratic headquarters, and I understand you're Democrat. I said, no, that's not right. Yeah, she said, oh, you're independent. Well, that's fine. We want to know if we can encourage you to vote for Hillary Clinton because of her years of service and what she's done for women and schools. Again, if you're listening, please tell me what Hillary Clinton has done for schools. Please tell me that. Please tell me what she's done for women. Please tell me. 321-345-WGGF. I mean, people are saying, I don't like Trump. Why? Please articulate and tell me why. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Trump. But when you look at this candidate and this candidate, I just don't see myself pushing that button for Hillary Clinton because there's so much. We were in sniper fire coming in on a helicopter. That was a lie. Guys was asking for help. They didn't get it. Huh? Man, listen. Boy, don't play with me. Don't even play with me. So now, the other to Trump. Now, here's my issue with Trump. I think Trump needs to get more versed in the politics. And first of all, I can respect the man because Trump is a guy, he is going to get things done. And you can tell because if he had someone in his campaign, they would say, Trump, take it easy. You're winning. You can't win. Just relax. Take it easy. Don't say nothing. Let the emails marinate and keep hitting on the emails. Now, again, we got to remember Hillary Clinton deleted 33,000 emails. She not only did that, she took the phones where the information was and destroyed the phones. That's tampering with evidence. She got away with that. I mean, listen. Again, if you like Hillary Clinton, please tell me, what has she done? If you like Mr. Obama, please tell me, what has he done? Just tell me, what has he done? Please. What has he done? What has she done? And you got to remember, people, we got to realize we have a Supreme Court, in my opinion, that some of the verdicts or the decisions that have been made have been, in my opinion, you can liken it to a kangaroo court. Common sense is not prevailing anymore. But I just don't understand. People really hate this guy Trump, and they like Hillary Clinton, but they can't tell me what she's done. How can he say these things about these women? And let me tell you something. To be honest, women, we know we gravitate to men who have money, have nice cars, because women like security. And I just don't think, I don't doubt the man was carrying on like that. He's a millionaire. Is it right? No, it's not right. But it happened 11 years ago. This man didn't get anybody killed. Oh, he didn't pay some of these people. But the man said, do you know why I didn't pay? Do you know why I didn't pay? The work wasn't done right. And this is what happens when you're dealing in real estate. So again, I'm not vying for Mr. Trump. I'm not advocating for this or that, but I'm just certainly saying that when we match up Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, there's too much filth. And Donald Trump is saying, what have you done for 30 years? Why haven't you done it? I just don't see how people can vote for this woman. Think about what the court do. Think about what the U.S. Supreme Court's going to look like. Remember, they blocked Obama's nomination. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the one thing that is going to happen, we're going to see an aggressive push for gun control. I'm going to tell you that right now. And the one thing Trump believes in, letting people be armed. He said, listen, that happened in California. If you had people with guns, it wouldn't happen. Now, say what you want. I'm not a man who advocates violence. I don't believe in violence. I believe in peace. But I do believe the right to bear arms was not for the citizen. It was for the citizens to be able to protect themselves from the government, which is why they wrote that into the Constitution, because they was fighting King George, who was trying to disarm them and control them. So this is why it wasn't for me and you to go arms bearing guns. It wasn't for me and you to go and in the public to shoot people, citizens, but it was for us to be able to protect ourselves against the tyranny of government. Read the paper. Read the paper. So I believe if we see Hillary Clinton, and I believe she's going to do a continuation, because Obama did try to take the guns. He did try to do that, or suppress right to bear arms. Look at what's going on in California. When you look at California, it's a liberal state, and it's basically a blueprint for what they try to do throughout all the states. Now, what they'll do is they'll go indirectly to receive the guns. And I said this before. Now they're saying if you can be deemed mentally incompetent, a family member can go to a judge or go to a police station. Hey, my relative is mentally incompetent. He shouldn't have a gun. They're going to go before the judge, and if they say, hey, what did he do? It could be for a light reason. You can have your arms taken away from you. You see, so they'll backdoor you any kind of way to get their purpose. Now, I'm running out of time, and I want to talk about this. Did you all hear? Again, the number to partake in our conversation is 321-345 WGGF 321-345-9443 508-DRWEECH. I want to thank you all for participating with text and on the chat process. You can participate on the chat line also. I want to know if you all heard about Justice Ginsburg calling Kaepernick's protest stupid. I thought that was Kaepernick. If you haven't followed, he's a quarterback for San Francisco 49ers, and he's been taking a knee during the national anthem during a protest because he's saying, hey, this is the way I can express myself because I'm troubled at what I'm seeing going on with black men. And she says it's stupid and dumb and disrespectful, and she would lock him up. I think that's very unfortunate for a Supreme Court justice to say that. So we've got to look at what's at stake. Number one, Justice Scalia seat and Ginsburg's seat. She's 81. 4 more years, we're going to have to pick another Supreme Court. So that's 2. So we got to be very mindful and understand, step back, get out your emotion, and really examine what the country would look like with more liberalism. What the country would look like with more liberalism. And I want to encourage you to take a look at that. So now, with respect to that, it's troubling when you have justices on the court who are thinking like this. So it makes you like, man, if she's thinking like that, I mean, what do you do? Now, I want to say this. I don't know if you all heard this, but the UN has said that African Americans should get reparations. When we had the string of African American men being shot on immediate by police, whatever the circumstances you believe, and that's a hot topic. A lot of people, I think, who are not black can't empathize or relate to that issue. I can recall seeing a speech given by one of the AT&T executives to his staff, and he said, "Look at our staff. We're diverse. We're educated, and we're working together." He said, "Don't tolerate people." And he said, when you hear Black Lives Matter, don't say all lives matter. He says, try to understand why they're saying that. All lives matter, absolutely. But I think when you hear people say Black Lives Matter, they're saying, hey, man, we shouldn't be murdered. Let me tell you what I like in that, too, because, of course, every life counts. Every life counts. But I think when you look at what's going on, I think people are saying what Dr. King said during the Civil Rights era. Before he started that Civil Rights era, a lot of people said, no, Dr. King, don't do that, man. But Dr. King was saying we all deserve civil rights. We all deserve human rights. And that wasn't the case because you had a bathroom for Negro Americans, what they were called then, and you had a bathroom for white Americans. And this is why you have the, I believe it's the case, Brown versus, no, not Brown, I forget that case, but the education where it's saying if it's going to be separate, it has to be equal. Well, the schools were subpar for African Americans. So I think all lives matter, but we got to realize that there's certainly a situation and problem when policing with African Americans. So the UN says, from what we've been seeing and from what African Americans have gone through, they deserve reparations. And now let me say, we have no leader talking up on that. No leader talking up on that. Now, don't tell me that our president can't talk up for us. You know, I was talking to somebody and I said, well, what has he done for African Americans? And I don't want to hop on this because he's the president of the United States, but I'm hearing people, and I say this point to say, well, Trump ain't gonna do enough for black people. What has this black man done for African Americans? And let's face it, African Americans survive under severe conditions. So what's the problem? Now, I mentioned Obama. Don't say he can't do this because Obama wrote several $1 million for reparations for the Jews. Look it up. He wrote several $1 million for reparations for the Jews. The UN says we African Americans should get reparations, and no one talks up on that. Did you hear that? Did you hear that report? Did anybody tell you that? It's strange you didn't hear that. And you know, I think kind of way out the box, and forgive me for that, but it was kind of strange that we see a minimization of African American being killed. It's like, hey, when they said reparations, that's it. And I definitely want to commend what happened in Chicago. A police officer pulled over someone who was mentally challenged, and he was wailing on his police officer, white police officer. She restrained, didn't shoot him, didn't kill him. She got the beating. I commend that kind of policing because it could have easily gone the other way. And I do believe that some of the officers are showing restraint because you have the Justice Department coming in, and now the Justice Department is saying they're going to begin keeping stats on policing in different areas. And I think that's good because we need something that's going to minimize what's going on. And more importantly, we should have a workshop with our African-American brothers and sisters to say, this is how you should act when being pulled over. I'm not saying that they act inappropriately or incorrectly when they're pulled over, but we just, within our power, have to do whatever we can not to push the envelope. I can recall in Miami, North Miami, we're in Miami, we're stationed in Miami, and the man had his hands up, said, don't shoot. He laid down. He was trying to get his patient. They shot the man anyway, and the man said, why'd you shoot me? The guy said, I don't know. She said, I don't know. So we need to see if we can talk upon that and find some leadership in the African-American community. And this is what this show is about. It's just about educating us in certain areas with respect to the political process. And I don't want us as people thinking from a divided component. What politics does is it divides. And it's like, you know, divide and conquer. Well, I'm going to vote for Hillary Clinton. A woman that says I'm going to vote for Hillary Clinton because she's a woman. Someone to vote for Hillary Clinton because, say, a Democrat, I'm just a Democrat, I'm going to vote for Hillary Clinton. I don't vote for Trump because I don't like him. You don't like black people. Educate yourself, people. Because one thing you need to realize is that blacks recently were Democrats, long before they were Republicans. You can even look back into history when blacks served in the political environment, they were Republicans. In fact, what shifted is during the Civil Rights era, Dr. Martin Luther King got arrested, and his wife, Coretta King, reached out to someone from the Kennedy campaign and said, hey, can you call a judge and see if you could do something out? Hear this. Nixon and Dr. King were on speaking terms, and they were telling Nixon, his advisor was saying, Nixon, listen, if you do something, this would be a good thing for your campaign. He didn't do anything. His inability to do anything caused, pretty much they say caused him the election. What happened? One of the guys who was in the Kennedy campaign reached out to John. John calls him up, say, hey, I'm going to see what I can do. He finds out about it. Robert Kennedy, John's brother, finds out about it, and he's livid. He's upset. And he says, you know what? You shouldn't have touched that. So he says, maybe we can use this for political gain. He goes in, talks to the judge, gets him released. Dr. King gets out and he says, I understand that Kennedy was an important part of getting me out, and I want to thank him. Black Americans voted Democrat ever since. That's how we got voted on Democrat. It's a documentary on, I think they showed on one of these news channels, and you even had Pat Buchanan to say, he didn't participate in the marches. Kennedy didn't participate in the marches. You care less. It was a political stunt. You see? So I think we need to be mindful, and we need to look at the policies. And I'm going to close up after this point. I want to thank you all for tuning in. This final point, Hillary Clinton likes, or she advocates Planned Parenthood. I don't believe anybody knows what Planned Parenthood did, what Planned Parenthood is. Planned Parenthood talks about women's reproductive health. And whenever you hear this women's reproductive health, you're talking about infanticide, killing unborn children. That's what that's about. And whenever I hear women say, this is my body, my right to do, I'm just baffled as to how people just so calmly agrees and legitimizes infanticide, the killing of unborn children. I just don't understand it. I find it strange. Well, in any event, let me tell you what Planned Parenthood is, because even Ben Carson had gave some insight on this. Planned Parenthood was started by a woman named Margaret Sanger, and she believed in eugenics. And eugenics was that you built the best species or races of human beings. And what it was called the American Birth Foundation, something like that. And it was started to suppress blacks. It really was done to suppress blacks. And if you think I'm telling you untruths, you can go clearly look up, what's this thing, toomanyAborted.org, toomanyAborted.org. Let me see if I can find it, toomanyAborted.org. And you can see if that's true. Let me look that up, toomanyAborted.org. Because Planned Parenthood, when you hear reproductive health, it's just a code word for saying infanticide, abortion. So when you hear that women's reproductive health, they're just saying abortion. Don't buy into it. So Hillary Clinton is a strong advocate for this place, Planned Parenthood. And remember, the only agenda that Planned Parenthood was structured and set up for was the suppression and to minimize the birth rate of African American people. And I think Ben Carson talked about this during his presidency, and this has never been refuted. And Hillary Clinton is a strong advocate of this particular organization. So when we look at Planned Parenthood and the mindset of this organization and what it's done, yes, toomanyAborted.org, I'm sorry, toomanyAborted.com, it tells us about the story and the underlyings and the genuine intentions of Planned Parenthood. I mean, look at the name. It sounds like it's genuine. It sounds like it's a place that's going to help you with respect to saving lives, but that's not the case. That's not the case. So take a look at that Too Many Aborted, and you continue to think about what's happening when you're looking and choosing the candidate. This is a woman that agrees with infanticide. I mean, say what you want. We shouldn't be in cahoots and thinking about infanticide or going with anyone who agrees with infanticide. So these are my comments. This is what I think. This is my comments with respect. We have a debate coming up Sunday, but I believe Wednesday or Thursday. The debate's coming up Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to take a look at that, and we're going to certainly have some comments regarding that debate also. Again, if you have comments, 321-345-WGGF, 321-345-9443, 508-DRWEECH. One more thing. I want to encourage you to get out and vote. Don't be swayed or discouraged. And again, if I've rambled on about Hillary Clinton, I just wanted to inform you. Listen to what's going on. Listen to what the candidates are saying. Don't be so easily moved by the media, because the media is empowering. They're going to do their best to influence your vote, your opinion. And what I'm saying is, don't vote if you're an African American. Just don't vote as a Democrat. And if you're a Republican, just don't vote as a Republican. Vote with information. Vote going in informed. Vote going in and saying, hey, you know, I know why I'm doing these things. And if someone wants to talk to you about their particular choice, talk to them. Maybe you can educate them. I have a little sparring match with a guy, a friend of mine on Facebook, and he's always posting things about Trump. And I said, well, let me educate you. And then he calmly admitted, hey, man, listen, I'm not too much into politics. And that's usually what happens. I'm going to vote for Hillary. Why? I've been voting Democrat as long as I know. I was old enough to vote. Get educated. I mean, this is why I wasn't offended when I heard Trump say, African Americans, what have you got to lose? Some African Americans were offended when he said that, and I wasn't, because what do you have to lose? What have you gained? What have we gained as a people voting Democrat? How have we benefited? Detroit was ravaged. That was democratically run. Detroit was ravaged, democratically run. You'll see these people only when it's time to vote. This is the only time you see these people. You won't see these people any other time other than when it's election time, when they're coming to pimp you for your vote. And I think we need to be more educated than that. We need to kind of like wake up and smell the coffee and realize these people don't care about us, don't care about community. And the only time you can flex that muscle is during voting time. Now, I'm not telling you to vote for Trump, and I'm not saying to vote for Trump, but I can tell you plainly, I ain't vote for Hillary Clinton. And if you know like I know, you would really search long and hard. Educate yourself on the process and think about this presidency of 8 years. I hear so many people say, oh, he's done so many things. What has he done? Think about 4 more years of the way it's going. It can't. So Educate yourself. Don't believe the lies of saying, hey, you know, it's Obama's fault. It's the Bush, the previous administration. So if let's just say Hillary Clinton wins, God forbid, and she doesn't do anything, oh, well, it's because the Republicans are stopping me. No, the Republicans want you to win. Stop it. The establishment wants you to win. This is why I'm looking and listening to a guy that says, hey, it's all the cronies coming out saying they don't want to get this man elected. Now, all we can do is hope for the best, keep watching this election, and watch what's going on. Folks, this is called Community Conversation. If you have a particular issue you would like to discuss, please reach out to us. This is for the community, and we're talking about things that will educate you and help you understand the political process. I want to encourage you to continuously tune in, continuously tune in WGGF Radio, and watch some of the things we're doing. I'll be back next Sunday, God wills it, talking about more issues that affect you and me in our daily lives. And I want to thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Please let people know we're going to be here dealing with the issues 8 o'clock p.m. from this point forward. Watch the debate coming up this week because we're going to have a lot of information to talk about. Continue to watch the process of these emails coming out and continue to watch how they do each candidate and see how it sways. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. And this is Dr. Weech signing off on Community Conversation, and we'll see you next week.